So for now, all we need to know, the really important thing, is that does race exist? No, basically. Almost all scientists that you ask, all social scientists, natural scientists, will tell you that race does not exist. Race is not actually a thing. It was a sort of, it's a mistake, or if it does exist, it exists because a lot of people say it, and a lot of people think it exists, but there's not actually a thing. So, or are things such as races. There are not groups of people who share certain DNA that makes them a group, that you can't actually divide up the human population into races, okay? That's not something that you can scientifically do. For complicated reasons that we'll touch upon, but I'll also give lots and lots of resources that people can read more about that if they're interested. So what we might do is push some of this lecture into the next one, because it is a big lecture with lots of complicated topics. But what we think race is has changed a lot. So originally race was what people, hundreds of years ago when race was invented, they just based it on how people looked. So they tried to classify people into groups because they said this one has that type of head, and this one has that type of head, or that type of head, or this skin tone, or whatever. And so they used to say that. And then they said, oh no, well, race is not actually about that, because people do look really different. You take people in Ireland, some might have red hair, and some might have white hair, and some might have brown hair. So then they said, oh, well, it's actually about geography. It's about where the zone is from. And then more recently, when we discovered genes and DNAs, they said, oh, it's about the frequency of how many genes you have and things like this. And that's how you classify people. And as I say, now recently, scientists, 99% of scientists will agree that there is no such thing. You cannot use genes or anything to classify people into certain groups, such as racism, such as race.